Welcome back. It's your health program, My Body and I. Before we meet the doctor, you can also contribute to this program by following us on Twitter on @health_mybodyandI and on Facebook, facebook.com/mybodyandI. We're glad to have you on the show, doctor.
Thank you.
Please, may we meet you?
Okay, I am Etienne Odeme, the head orthopedic technologist in Roslyn Orthopedic Care Center. I welcome you to us.
Thank you very much for having us. What differentiates you from an orthopedic doctor?
Okay, the difference between I and an orthopedic doctor and an orthopedic doctor is I work with the superficial body, while the orthopedic doctor work with the inner body.
So when you say superficial, what do you mean?
I am more of a physical rehabilitation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now what is a prosthesis and what is an orthotics?
Okay. A prosthesis is a total replacement to the lost and deformed parts of the body, while an orthosis is an artificial support to a deformed part of the body or an injured part of the body.
So they are totally different. They are two different things. One is a total replacement,
yes,
while the other is
a supportive device.
Okay. So people who wear these devices, what are they referred to? What can we refer to them as?
Yeah, this is very important. I have to be careful the way I put it, because a disabled person would not want to be called a disabled person. And I, as a practitioner in prosthetics and orthotics, won't call a disabled person because I'm meant to restore functions and give them hope.
Yes.
So a person presenting with any kind of orthopedic malformations or anything that might somehow be abnormal is not abnormal. Is a normal person. The person is who he is. So all we have to do is to adapt the functions.
Now I'm talking about restoring hope to these people. Can they live their normal lives wearing these devices?
Okay. You have your natural limb, and I don't have mine. I use a prosthesis. Your natural limb has limits of functions. My prosthesis as well has limits of functions, but the material my prosthesis is made of can make my own functions more than yours. For example, Oscar Pistorius, who runs with the cheetah blade, can run faster than you, who runs with your natural limb.
Okay.
All I'm trying to say is, whether with prosthesis or not with prosthesis, you can lead or live a functional life.
So one way that can a person sleep with it? Can a person swim? Can a person jog, do certain things?
Yes, when it comes to administration or prescription of prosthesis to different individuals, we do it. What we do here is more of an individualized treatment. Different people have different devices, and before we administer any device, we look at what we call mobility grade.
Okay.
So we have 4 different mobility grades, and you as a person must fall into one of these mobility grades. And the component selection for your prosthesis also matters a lot. We have the titanium components, we have the aluminum components, we have the steel components, and we have the carbon fiber components.
Okay.
Steel are corrosive products.
Yes.
Titanium don't corrode. So depending on what you need and what we as a prosthetist see that is good for you is what we offer you. So you can decide to swim with your prosthesis if you use the Aqualine system. The Aqualine system are made from special materials, titanium and carbon fiber materials. They are immersible in water. They are water resistant. Even the knees with microprocessors and electrical or electronic arms. We have the water resistant version of it. So we are only second to nature. Nature remains nature.
Number one, yes.
So uh, we can tell you the do's and don'ts, but with your natural, you don't have do's and don'ts. Even if you have, it's something you are used to. But here, we'll give you a device and we'll train you and we'll let you understand what to do and not to do with it. So you can decide if you want a prosthesis you can bet with, you can swim with. We have options for you. So you can make your choice from our several options.
Okay, apart from some religious beliefs, some other people get amputated based on maybe ulcer or some kind of, sickness. Now, for kids, would you advise that children be wear these prostheses, or should they wait until they are much older before they are, they are allowed to wear these prostheses or orthotics?
Kids use prostheses. If you look at the history of Oscar Pistorius, he started using prostheses since when he was a kid. So far as a kid needs to live a functional life, there is no way limiting the kid to being in one place without giving him or her a device. So age has nothing to do with this. The only part of a person's life age will play a role in giving a prosthesis is the time this person is not functional, that is in the infantry stage, right? The first 1 year of life. There's nothing much this person can do.
Yeah.
But so far as a child can start walking, doing things on his or her own, you have to help him or her live that independent life.
Is it just walking? What if it's the hand that was amputated?
Yeah, if it's the hand, we have several options for the hand, starting from passive to myoelectric arms. We have the hybrid arms. We have the Ego arm hybrid plus dynamic arm, the Utah 3 plus. We have different options. So it depends on what the person needs, but sometimes in this part of the world, Africa, cost implication of these devices plays a crucial role in administering the device, because most of these myoelectric systems, they are very expensive.
Wow.
But if you have a real need for it, I don't think it's expensive if you really have the need for it.
When you compare what you really would gain from it, you will not really look at the expense of it. Now, I don't know if I should refer to this place as the hospital, but what are the different types of prostheses you administer to people? Like, is it just maybe the knee or the leg? Do you do things about the hand? What regions? What levels do you go in administering this?
We deal both with lower extremities and upper extremities, and even spinal orthotics.
Okay.
Yeah. So at any level of amputation on the lower leg, we can give you a prosthesis, functional prosthesis. Like on the lower leg, we have through the ankle, which is Symes. We have below the knee, which is transtibial. We have through the knee, which is knee disarticulation. We have above knee transfemoral. We have hip disarticulation. And we even have the hemicorporectomy, which part of the pelvis is removed.
What do you call that?
Hemicorporectomy.
Okay, where the pelvis?
Yes, the pelvis is removed. So we can give you a functional prosthesis with good microprocessor knee joints like the Orthobox C-Leg Genium, the Freedom Innovations Plie 2.0, and a lot of microprocessor knee.
You just mentioned Ottobock, and I know Ottobock is a German company. Are you in any way affiliated to these people?
Yes, we are. We have a partnership and affiliation with Ottobock Healthcare. The center you see here was designed, planned, and equipped by
them.
Ottobock.
Oh, really?
So we have a direct relationship, not just Rock, but Rock and her patients have relationship with Ottobock.
So are you trying to say now that there is, if you have patients, in some cases you could send them over there for treatment?
Not if we had the plan of sending patients to Ottobock for treatment, Rock wouldn't be here.
Okay.
The reason Rock is here is to make sure that Nigerians, Africans as a whole, have access to quality prosthetic and orthotic health care without traveling to Germany or any part of the world.
I see one model there. How long does it take to this stage?
Yes, this is really a tedious work. It takes a long time because we start with what we call the negative casting, taking the imprints of the patient's residual or deformed limb. Then we are going to make a positive mold out of this, then modify the positive mold, creating our pressure areas and noting the pressure sensitive areas to create relief as well, and also to shape into what you want, to shape a particular part of the body into what you want it to be. So on this mold is what it's really the quality of your job.
Okay.
If you don't get this perfect, you cannot get anything perfect.
Like, does it take up to a month?
No.
2 months, weeks, days?
Here, a minimum treatment period for a typical amputee, or okay, let me say orthosis, because the model here is for an orthosis, and HCAF orthosis, hip, knee, ankle, foot orthosis for a polio patient.
Polio patients too can?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
So this takes, a negative plaster casting takes like about an hour. Then the positive molding takes about 30 minutes. Modification, we would need a minimum of 2 days.
Please, I'll take you back a bit. You said negative and positive. Can you explain that further?
Negative is taking the imprint of the stone with a plaster of Paris bandage.
Okay.
While positive is making a mold of the imprint with a plaster of Paris powder.
Now, what does it weigh? Does it weigh same as the natural hand or leg, or does it weigh? Is it much heavier than
the positive cast? Definitely is heavier than the natural.
Won't it weigh the patient down? Like if it's a hand amputation now, won't it?
Okay, I understand what you mean now. The negative cast weighs almost nothing, maybe like a few grams. The patient hardly feels that there's something on. Then the positive cast weighs a lot, but that doesn't go on the patient. And the device himself we are going to make out of this positive cast, the weight is determined by the kind of material used. Different materials have their system weights.
Okay.
So the choice of material plays also a crucial role in determining the weight of a particular device. But so far as we are out to make patients have a feel good in their devices, we do all our best to make sure that the device is as light as possible, because your muscle strength for a polio patient, your muscle strength is not full. You don't have good muscle strength, so we have to make your device as light as possible so that your residual muscles can be able to move the device. Same as amputees, a severed leg, you have short muscles, short nails, everything short, so the muscle strength will not be as much as someone with full muscle strength, with the full leg. So we have to make sure that the device we give you is light enough for your residual muscles to carry.
Okay. Is your organization in charge of doing the amputations, or do you have a hospital where it's done? Where do you come in all of this?
Patients can do their amputations anyway. But the most important part is that before amputation, a prosthetist must be there. One, determine the level of amputation, the shape of the residual limb. Those two things are very important. The level of amputation, you cannot give a prosthetist a very short stump and expect him to give a very functional device to the patient, because the stump is short, the residual muscles are very short, so functions will be limited. Or maybe if a prosthetist is there, the prosthetist will decide if it was meant to give a very short below the knee stump, why not go through the knee and give the patient a microprocessor knee joint, or whichever kind of knee joint, like the hydraulic knee joint or mechanical singular use or polycentric knee joint, that will save the patient better.
Some people have lost their limb, either due to sickness, diabetes, or its kind, alter of the leg, in the line of duty, and accidents. Now, in such cases, they were not present, they were not before a doctor or, someone who was going to amputate them. What role do you play in that?
Okay.
Do they have hope for wearing a prosthesis?
Yes, they do. They do. Somehow, when a patient comes to us, I can remember a particular case of, I won't mention his name. He came to us. His thumb was not in good shape. It didn't have a good shape. It was just, I don't know how it was. It was just somehow. All we have to do is that we have to send the patient back to his doctor. Come on, look at this. This is what we want. The doctor had to call and ask us, the prosthetist, what do you really want? Because the shape of this thumb determines the functions of the prosthesis we have to give to the person. The doctor had to call, what do you want? Can you just tell me what you want? We did a Skype call and we described everything to the doctor, and the guy did it and sent pictures to us. We saw it was good. Though it's not long this was done, but we are expecting him to come back, but what we have seen on pictures is a perfect one, is what we wish to work with. So in cases like this, if the patient is presenting with a stump condition we don't like or is not good for us, we have to send the patient back to his surgeon or wherever the amputation was done. And we have to communicate with the doctors, this is what we want, and making them understand why we need this. They have to do maybe a stump refashioning, or if a patient lost his or her arm to some trauma, before the arm is healed, the patient must definitely meet the doctor.
Okay.
The doctor must at least open it up again, reduce the humerus bone inside the arm, then create a good cushion flap. So there's no way a patient would just come to a prosthetist directly on that trauma. The patient meets with the doctor, okay. They refashion the residual limb before discharge.
Okay, now tell us more about the services you render here.
Okay, here what we do is a pre-amputation consultations, physical rehabilitation, physiotherapy, prosthetic and orthotic care. In orthotics, we rehabilitate polio patients, patients living with stroke, patients living with spinal deformities like scoliosis, kyphosis, and different curvatures of the spine. We deal with the things like low back pain. We are giving you the normal orthosis you need to relieve the pains. And our most important responsibility here is taking care of people that have lost their limbs due to one reason or the other.
All right. You're still watching My Body and I, your health program on Rave TV. You can be part of today's show by following us on Twitter and sending us tweets on our Twitter handle at health_My Body and I, or on Facebook. Drop your comments on Facebook, facebook.com/My Body and I. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, you ask the doctor. Welcome back. It's your program, My Body and I, and we'll be speaking to Head Orthopedic Technologist, Roslyn Orthopedic Care Center, Dr. Udeme Etieno. Now, Doctor, we have some questions for you from our Twitter handle, and there are a lot of them pouring in actually, but I'm going to take just a few. Let's start with the Facebook comments. David says, will I be able to return to sports and other physical activities when I receive my prosthesis?
And then if it's possible, I will shout yes. You can return to sports and other activities. There's nothing much about it.
So when
There are
you
devices that can put you back into that place or that phase of life.
okay, and then quickly another one. Sumbo says, "How do I care for my liner and keep them from smelling as I already wear prosthesis?"
Yes, care for your liner just as you care for your skin.
What's a liner?
Yes, a liner is what gives your stump cushion inside your prosthetic
Okay.
socket. So most times it's made from silicone.
Okay.
So all you have to do is use soapy water or you use some disinfectant, clean the liner, make sure it's always clean and dry before wearing
Wearing.
it on your stump.
So these prostheses are removable, something
Yeah,
you
they
can
are
remove
removable.
and wash and then...
If you sweat in your liner, make sure just clean up the sweat. Don't allow it to stay, and you'll be fine.
Can it be sunned? Can it be put under the sun to dry?
No, cold dry the liner
Okay.
because this silicone, if you expose it to heat, it will be. It's a silicone gel. You know how gel
Yes.
reacts in it, so
Okay.
cold dry it.
So going quickly to our Twitter, Adebayo says, "Why can't I get a prosthesis shortly after amputation?" I think he has a problem with getting a prosthesis. So why
Yeah.
can't I get a prosthesis shortly after the amputation?
Maybe why you cannot get a prosthesis shortly after amputation, though there are prostheses that can be given shortly after amputation. But if your doctor advises you not to get a prosthesis shortly after amputation, that means you have to stick to the advice. And I think there are conditions that might cause the doctor to tell you not to get a prosthesis shortly after amputation. Maybe depending on the kind of amputation done, we have what we call the myodesis, which the muscle is placed on the bone. It depends on the type or the type of amputation that was done on you, and it depends on the pens around the stump. A prosthesis is what you put weight on. So maybe if your doctor sees that you cannot bear weight with your residual limb, he would not prescribe a prosthesis for you.
Immediately.
So you have to stay until your stump is properly healed.
Okay, and the last question from our Twitter, this is from Colin saying, "I used to be a driver. Can I drive again using my prosthesis?"
Yes, you can drive again.
No pains, no...
No pains, nothing. With a prosthesis, you can live a functional life. And your functional life is not limited to only driving. You can do a lot of other things apart from driving. You can ride bicycles, you can ride bikes, you can jog, you can do a lot of things. So I think driving is even one of the easiest things you can do with a prosthesis.
As you rightly said, the example you gave, the Olympic runner,
Yes, Oscar
Oscar
Pistorius.
Pistorius.
And even we had a patient here who came, when he came in from Benin, his driver brought him down here. But after he got his prosthesis, he drove his car back to Benin alone.
Wow.
He left Lagos 8 o'clock in the morning, and before 2 p.m. he called, "I am in Benin." The patient is doing all he could do. He's just living a normal life. So it's just about getting a good device.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor, for your time and for explaining this topic to us. We really appreciate your presence today.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
We have been speaking with Dr. Udeme Etieno on prosthesis and orthotics. Losing a limb is not the end of fulfilling your aspirations or dream in life, as there is hope to people living in such conditions. I am Zika Onuma. Thanks for watching, and join us same time again next week. Bye for now.